What's the greatest experience on planet Earth like? Well,
Tonight, Lindsay and I sit down with our pal Jonny Lieberman, bearded automotive man about town. He's got opinions, and we talk about it all. Car Week, the Mille Miglia, Jerry Seinfeld, Spike's Car Radio, the Colorado Grand, getting older, engaging with your automotive audience, winning the lottery, Johnny's impressive Pikes Peak run, and the true final boss of cars. Plus listener questions, and if you like what you hear, tell your friends and do us a favor and follow, rate, and review the show on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Jonny is a good guy, and this is a fun one. It's That Car Show.
Well, welcome back to That Car Show. I'm Lindsay, and I'm here with Ryan, and tonight we have my good friend Jonny Lieberman joining us. Hi, Jonny.
hello.
Hey,
Hi. So
glad to have you here.
you and I met through Instagram, but we connected through our shared obsession with cars, and then we've been friends for the last few years.
Hang on, you have an obsession with cars. I just work with cars. I don't.
That's
I'm
true.
Not, I'm not the.
Yeah,
all that
I just label everyone else who
yeah.
is,
I don't really have an
connected.
obsession. Yeah. I just profit from them.
You're definitely not obsessed with them. You're not even really interested. You're just here.
Just a job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a paycheck. So you've been an automotive journalist and an on-camera host for car-related video content for Motor Trend. I think I first learned about you when you were doing head-to-head years ago, but you've written for Motor Trend, Autoblog, Jalopnik, and of course many others. And you're freelancing now more. And you just started your own YouTube channel, Driving with Jonny. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I'm on a podcast called Spike's Car Radio.
That's right.
You
Oh, yeah, you might have heard of it.
Yeah. And
I
yeah,
think it's the
been
number
doing
one
this-
show currently. Yeah.
and I've been doing this for 20 years, 2 decades.
2
And,
decades. That's what I thought.
More than 2 decades now. And I had this other podcast called The Inevitable, which I just heard on Friday is coming back. So
Excellent.
amazing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So all kinds of stuff happening.
So much. Well, and you have guested on our mutual friend Jorge's Tormenting Tarmac podcast
Shout out Jorge.
several times.
many
Yeah.
times,
He's the
which is
best.
I'm the
always
most
fun.
frequent guest ever on the Smoking Tire podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You can add professional podcast host and guest to your
Yes.
resume.
Yeah. I've been on more. I don't even know the amount of podcasts I've been on. I couldn't even name half the podcasts I've been on. So
There's a couple times where like an episode has showed up in my feed. I didn't even know about the show, but I think
Yeah.
because you were on it, it was like, hey, you might like this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a whiskey podcast I think you did a couple years ago, right?
yeah, I've done 2 whiskey podcasts to my knowledge. Yeah, countless podcasts. I was on a comedy podcast with my
Really?
friend Jen Sturger and this guy Eddie Pierce, and it's called oh god, it's Not Today Show. Not
Okay.
Today Show.
Oh, that's funny.
Great name.
Right
Yeah,
on,
the Not
right on.
Today Show. Yeah,
Oh, that was within the last year you did that one.
that was a few months ago. Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a guest.
You're a prolific podcast guest.
We're
I
good
think we
company.
can safely
Good company,
say.
so.
Yes.
Yes. Well, maybe we can learn a thing or two from you today then.
Maybe.
but You have been an amazing resource for me the last few years with all things automotive and the industry and journalism and just the way things have changed. And I know, our friends Derek Powell and Lynn Woodward say the same thing about you. You are very generous with your knowledge, which we all appreciate. And I'm so excited
Cool.
that you're here and
Yeah.
to catch up with you.
Yeah.
So we thought, there's a topic that is on at least all of Dan and Ryan's and my minds because it's coming up so quickly, which is Car Week in Monterey.
Yes.
So I think we could say you're a Car Week expert at this point.
I think this will be because COVID. I think this is my 16th. No, hang on.
Oh, okay.
It'll be my 15th. It would have been my 16th, but it will be my 15th year because it shut down for a year.
Right. Yeah,
So
they
I've been going.
canceled.
I want to
2020.
say I've been going since 2009. My first one.
Yeah, I was thinking about my attendance today, and I was there in '97 before Car
Wow.
Week was a thing. Like that was just the vintage races. There wasn't everything else
Wow,
around
yeah.
it. and then 1 year, a few years before COVID, and then since 2021 every year. And, it's my favorite week of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
yeah,
best. Yeah, yeah.
It is.
Despite what lots of people try and say, it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, what are you most looking forward to this year? Because, it'd be easy to get sort of jaded, but it's just such an amazing conglomeration of events. Like, what are
Yeah,
you excited about?
I don't get jaded. I'm excited. This doesn't sound stupid. I'm excited about the cars. I don't get jaded by these events. I just, I look at it as just like, well, a couple things. One is, you'll be like, oh, hey, that looks just like that, one of one Oh, wait, of course, it is that one
Yeah.
of one because it's Car
yeah,
Week. So,
yeah.
so if you're a real car geek, that kind of stuff is just crazy, and just the things you see driving around are mind blowing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember anything about myself, but my buddy Mike Schaefer, the photographer, I took the first year I took him, which I think was 2000, either 10 or 11. Probably 11. Um, I remember we were like I was trying to explain to him like the types of cars he's going to see is going to blow his mind, and he
Yeah.
was not, I don't know, he was hearing but not understanding, hearing not believing, and as we exit 68 to get into Monterey or Carmel or wherever we're going, there's a black Ferrari F50 like just in front of us, and he, like I could
In
see his head
traffic.
like explode because there are no F50s anywhere, and a black
Yeah,
one is like,
yeah,
double plus rare,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's just it's that for a week. But yeah, I mean, the big easy ones are the Quail, is just a lot of fun. For me, the Quail's changed a lot because now it's like new car introductions,
mm,
Yeah.
um, and that's really the last few years, especially since like the Geneva show went away completely. This is where all the premium manufacturers really show their new vehicles. So there's a lot of work, which it used to not be a lot of work, but also just it's like kind of everyone in the industry on like two golf links or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
Not a lot of space. So that's kind of cool. It's a lot of catching up with old friends and talking and things like that, which is fun. And then you get to like bump into all the industry people that you see once a year and say, "Oh, we got to get together," and then you never do until the next year at the
Right.
Quail. But that's fun.
yeah, yeah.
Pointless interviews with CEOs where they say nothing and you have no questions, and it's great.
Yeah.
Never. I think over the so I probably missed the Quail once or twice in the 15 years that I've gone. So over those, let's say like 13 years, I've probably consumed like 90 calories of food total because I never remember to eat, and I'm always just like sunburnt and
Yeah.
starving and miserable by the end of it. Maybe this year I'll actually eat, but yeah, I think I've had like an oyster and like I don't know, like I had a Mercedes lunch one time or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how you know you quailed correctly if you don't get to
Yeah.
the end of the
Yeah.
day and you're
Yeah.
sunburned
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
starving.
But people are paying like $1,200 for the ticket or whatever the hell it costs because they say the food is good, whatever that means. Um, oh yeah, the Quail's cool, and there are actually cars on display. No one looks at them, but there's a lot of cool cars there.
Yeah.
Everyone's just looking at the new stuff because it's exciting. You've never seen it before because it's a car show now. Um, and then of course, I'm still a sucker for the Concours d'Elegance on Sunday. You
Yeah.
know, $500 million worth of cars on one link. I don't know what you call a golf course. One hole. It sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
We can
but
go
Wrong
with
crowd.
Link.
Yeah.
link,
Family
link,
show.
one links. And it's the best of 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 the best. Like, the
Yeah, you can't
Quail.
overstate it.
Yeah, the Quail will get like a lot of Lamborghini Espadas together, whereas Pebble would have like two Espadas, but they're the two absolute best. And then sometimes they do get like every Ferrari 250 GTO, and it actually wasn't even every, but it was like 22 of the 33 that exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they had 12 of the 16 Jag XJ, or excuse me, XK SSs, which was absolutely insane. So
Yeah.
stuff like that, or like a lot of 917s.
Right.
So it's really special, and plus if you like pre-war stuff, it's the best pre-war stuff in the world, and I love pre-war stuff. I know I'm old and dying, and nobody cares. Kids don't like it, and only supercars matter. Blah blah blah. I know all that, but they're all wrong. Sunday is the greatest.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And then I just like smoking cigars at the fire pits at Spanish Bay more than anything else, really. But don't tell too many people that.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. At least you didn't talk about it on Spikes ever, so nobody knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we're doing a live podcast on Saturday. That's become a kind of an institution now. So me and Spike and Zuckerman and Farah and maybe Jerry. Who
Possibly
knows?
a surprise guest.
Yeah. Well, it's not a surprise. It's a surprise if he shows up, I
That's
guess.
what I mean. Yeah. The surprise is if he's there.
The people are buying tickets to see him. Whether or not he's going to be there, that's another story.
Yeah.
Seinfeld might be there as well, but we're doing that on Saturday. I don't even know what time yet. And there's some other stuff happening, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to at Car Week.
Yeah.
Anything you don't bother with anymore during Car Week? You just kind of overrated?
Oh, ton.
Yeah.
Oh God, everything. Yeah.
Wait, do tell.
Well,
Where to start?
Number one, and they're gonna kill me because they're my friends, but like the Concord de Lemons, like.
Oh.
I got it. I got the joke. It's like a Saturday Night Live sketch. Like, let it die. It doesn't need to be a movie. 5 minutes, plenty. Got it. I understand. And I think I burned out for a lot of reasons. I used to work for the 24 Hours of Lemons. I was a race official. I think I went to 39 races, which
really,
that was about 37 too many. But
that's like a lifetime amount.
I was a judge. I got paid. I did get paid.
Okay.
There was that, and then for like 1 or 2 years, they conned me into being a judge at the Concord de Lemons, and like, again, it's just I get it. They're really bad cars. Like the first time I went, was it the first? I think it was the second time I went. Yeah, 2010. I was proud of myself, and people have copied this joke since, but I was really proud. I thought it was very original. I entered a brand new Bentley Mulsanne in Concord de Lemons.
Right on.
And got second worst of show. I think a Pontiac Aztec beat it. So it was in the worst of Britain category. Yeah, so it was a $300,000 Mulsanne. But really, what I try and do is I say yes to one thing per day. That's the great secret to enjoying Car Week is
right.
Don't run around. It's like people visiting Los Angeles. What'd you think? Oh, it sucked. I tried to go to the observatory and Venice and Disneyland on the same day, and I just sat in traffic. It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
So, one thing per day, and that's all you need to do, and go, find people you like and have dinner with them. Don't have dinner with strangers. Have dinner with people you like. And that's the secret to a relaxing Car Week. If you try and do two things in one day, you'll just sit in traffic because. So
I think, you shared that with me when we were at dinner with Schaefer a couple of years ago. Like the real secret tip is take the JOMO approach, the joy of missing out.
Oh, that's yes.
Delight in declining.
Yeah. Did you go to the Porsche party? No.
Right?
Absolutely not. Guess what? I'm never gonna go. and I'm just fine. I've totally missed that. I've missed that Porsche party. 15 pebbles in a row. Totally cool. Totally cool.
You did miss. We were there last year.
Yeah.
Ryan and I.
Oh, I didn't miss it.
No, but we got to see Spike and Zuckerman, and there was the great scallop throwing. This gal had put together like 6 plates of the scallop, appetizer.
On one,
literally a mountain of scallops, and she turns and goes and launches the whole thing right in front of Spike.
It was beautiful.
Did it hit Zuckerman?
No, but he was like real close. He
had some new kicks on too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and
like,
so.
ooh, It was
Very
a sight to behold. So it was worth being there for that.
I was going to ask you about Car Week hacks, but I think that's it, right? One thing a day, and then don't try to drive your classic car around while you're there, huh? People who go for their first time, they bring some amazing car, and then they sit in traffic, and they're,
Yeah, I mean, I always hear people, you got to take a motorcycle, which I'm like, are you nuts? But anyways, look, you're going to be in a little bit of traffic, but if you only do one thing a day, you're going to be in traffic once. So big deal. It's like going to work.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what people don't understand, and it's like you were saying, you were trying to describe it to Schaefer, you almost, there's elements of it that unless you've experienced Car Week, you can't understand, because you might be stuck in traffic, but the traffic is like Horatio Pagani driving by in a Pagani, and you're like, okay, I'm happy to sit in that traffic.
It's not so bad, and really, like I think also I've been going long enough now. Like when I complain about the traffic, it's not that the traffic's so bad. It's just there used to not be any, and now there is
Right.
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
And it's really just Carmel Valley Road. Really, there's really not any
Yeah.
other traffic. So if you're trying to head out to the Quail or Legends or whatever the hell they call the portion nonsense, like yeah, it's a 1 lane road, and there's a lot of people trying to get there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say yeah, bring your classic car. I
Yeah?
don't know.
Okay.
I drive new cars for a living, so I don't know anything. But I think I'm bringing an M5, so I'm bringing the new M5.
Oh,
because
nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm
You
excited
like
about
that
it.
car, don't you? You're a fan.
Well, I've never driven it. I drove the M5 wagon, the
Okay,
touring,
okay.
and I really enjoyed that. But I
Yeah?
haven't touched the sedan. And they said, "Hey, you want a sedan?" And I said, "Sure." So I'm not going to turn it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're kind of unique though. There's a lot of hate for that wagon.
Sure, lots of hate
Yeah.
from everyone who has never driven it. I've never met anyone
There
who's
you
driven
go.
it. who
There you
likes it.
go.
So,
There you go.
yes,
There
the
you go.
internet is undefeated with that.
Yes.
Yes, there's a lot of hate for a lot of cars. It's weird, and then you drive and you're like, God damn! Like
Mm-hmm.
these like century-old companies with like billions of dollars of R&D and the best engineers in the world. They actually make great cars just because the internet has some dumb list of like boxes that were unchecked. Like like I just drove the Temerario, the Lamborghini,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like wow, like it makes 907 horsepower, and the Porsche 918 Spider, which hypercar, right? Right, that's the
Yeah,
definition of a hypercar, makes 875, and the McLaren P1 makes 903, and this is the entry level first iteration of the Temerario. This is not the Performante, the Evo, the Technica, the
Yeah.
STO, whatever they're going to do, Superleggera, blah blah blah. This is just
Yeah.
the base model, makes 907. And a little birdie off the record told me, he said, yeah, if we got 200 horsepower per liter, 250, we've already done that, no problem. So there's way hotter versions
Wow.
coming.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that
They
insane?
just want to. I
It's
liked
absolutely. Well, I mean, just that we're living this golden era, right? That is just absurd.
But again, the
But
internet
it's
says
normal.
it sucks. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have a slower engine.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't have a slower, less torquey, lower revving engine. It totally sucks. It makes no sense. But that's the world we're in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Same thing. I drove the Ferrari F80. Like, hands down, no exaggeration, the best car I've ever driven. Best driver's
Really?
car I've ever driven.
Really.
I might say like a Rolls Royce Phantom is a better car.
Sure,
I don't know.
Sure.
But as
Horses
far as
for
like
courses.
handling goes, this is
Yeah.
it. Nothing's second place. It's that good, and the internet hates it because it doesn't make a loud noise. It's like whoa, And then actually, I drove it, and in Ferrari, they were like, well, because noise regulations are what they are around the globe, and we just said, like, let's not have it make any noise, and on the outside you'll just hear the aerodynamics if you're standing there, so it's the sound of like a mini tornado whooshing by you,
Right.
and on the inside you can hear the engine just fine, and it sounds great. It's an overboosted 3-liter that makes 888 horsepower. It's insane. 55 pounds of boost, I believe. 55 and a half pounds of boost, I forget. 3.7 bars. That's almost 4 atmospheres of turbo boost pressure.
Wow.
It's like the hardest part about driving it is like keeping it out of redline because it's just,
Jeez,
just
yeah,
always
yeah,
revved
yeah.
up. It's like
Wow.
there's nothing like it. And the internet says it sucks. So what do I know? I just drove the damn thing.
I think what we're learning is people want a reason to be upset. Is that?
Yeah.
I have
yeah,
no
yeah.
idea what people want.
It's easier to complain.
It's
Yeah.
just mind-boggling to me. I don't know. I'm the longer I do this, like the more bitter old man I become. But I just like the orthodoxy that cars only must be this. It cannot be any other way, or else it's bad. Where did that come from? Who are you going to impress with that?
Right.
Right on, bro. Like that's all you live for. Like, I don't know. I just don't get it.
So do you feel like that is something, like we've talked about how social media has changed what you do and impacted it, and like do you
Yeah.
feel like obviously the internet was in its infancy or earlier when you started. Do you feel like that has grown? in
I'm
terms
not
of-
that old, but yeah.
Well,
20 years
yeah.
ago, it's less. Yeah.
I mean, we can do the math, but Like, do you feel like people have gotten more extreme in that way, where if
Yeah,
a car isn't,
and again, I think they're looking for like brownie points. It's like you wanna say the right thing online. You don't want to. Well, actually, I enjoyed a Tesla. Ah! Like burn the witch. They're quite enjoyable. They're really good
Yeah.
cars. It's kind of like my take on the Cybertruck, which I drove. I know, crazy.
what?
I actually drove one, and my take is it's neither as fantastic or as terrible as everybody says. It's just sort of like a pretty good electric pickup truck. A nice mug. the,
Speaking of
yeah, yeah.
Cybertrucks,
Yeah.
little Blip shout out.
I made like dozens of dollars off that mug. Um, but it's like it's just fine. It's okay. Is a Rivian a better electric pickup truck? Yes. Is a Ford Lightning better? Debatable. But it's not. It's just people went like haywire over that thing, and Teslas in general, and EVs in general, and I don't know. So. I just feel like I said there's some kind of orthodoxy
Yeah.
where you have to say the same thing, and if every single car isn't a V12 manual, then it sucks in some way, and it's just like there's just a lot of reasons why that's gone. Again, in terms of like performance, I drove the Temerario in Portugal on a track called Estoril. And I happened to also have driven the Lamborghini SVJ, which again, arguably was a hypercar, or at least as close as you can push a supercar into hypercar territory without actually being a hypercar. But yeah, I was a 759 horsepower V12 thingamajig, and on the straight, I hit 177 miles per hour in the SVJ, and in the Temerario, I hit 189. Same track.
Yeah.
And again, this is the base car, and the SVJ was the umpteenth iteration of a platform with a V12, and this is a V8. So, is it better?
Right,
I think it drove worse.
define better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it drove worse.
Yeah.
And was definitely slower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, the internet's a big problem.
Hey, speaking
end.
of supercars,
Yeah.
where's this Porsche supercar that we've been hearing about? It's supposed to be every 15 years.
Well, it's supposed to be every 10 years. I mean, I
Is
don't know
that what it
it's
is? Okay.
supposed to be. It's like the 959 happened and then nothing, and then it just so happened that like 19 years later, it wasn't even like a round number, which is weird for Germans, but 19 years later, the Carrera GT happened, and then 9 years after that, the 918 Spider happened. I don't know about supposed to. Now, McLaren has released or shown at least a successor to the P1, the W1. Ferrari they're on about almost every 10-year cycle. So, 288 GTO was 86, let's say, and then 3 years later F40, and then like 8 years later F50, and then 10 years later Enzo, and then LaFerrari was probably 10 years after the Enzo, thereabouts, and then 10 years later was the F80. So they're kind of they've got it, So Porsche was supposed to do one. I don't know. I think what happened was the Mission X was that they showed at Rennsport was a Rennsport reunion was supposed to be it, and the people with the big checkbook said I don't want $1 million EV or whatever, and so they went back to the drawing board. That'd be my best guess. So, and they might have known that going in, so they hedged their bet a little bit by calling it the Mission X, or whatever they call it. Was it Mission X? It was Mission X.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know that something's happening at the Quail.
Yeah.
So if I was going to introduce a, $4 million hypercar to the world, I would sure do it at the Quail.
Sure.
So they're doing something. Lambo's showing something.
Yeah.
The Lambo's it's probably going to be like some kind of Revuelto low production model, like a couple $1 million, like the Centenario, like the Cian, that type of thing, 100 units. I think they're calling it, instead of a one-off, it's a few-off or something, which doesn't translate so well. But
Yeah. It's better in Italian.
everything's better in Italian.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I know. Well, so one of the things that has been fascinating for me is hearing, because people talk about like the supercars or the hypercars that are revealed at Quail, and the fact that they're all sold by the time the day is over. Like,
Usually, yeah. I mean, it depends on the run and it depends on the manufacturer. Like, for instance, I don't think Zenvo sold all their cars when they showed the Aurora. Was it last year? Um, and I think like remember with the Porsche, the 918, which I don't had nothing to do with the Quail, but they made
yeah,
like 918 of them, or
right.
some German like ha ha ha, one of those like numerology things. Um, where they picked a number and then set a price. But Ferrari just says like, how many of these do you think we could sell? 800. Okay, make 799. That's how Ferrari does it. Um, so yeah, a lot of them are sold. A lot of them are sold. But also remember, like they'll show a car like they showed the Temerario last Quail, and I just drove it 2 weeks ago, and it goes on sale in Q1 of 26. So it's an 18-month lead time. So even if you sell every one, what are you really doing? You're taking deposits or commitments or something, and then bankruptcy happens. The world's insane right now. Divorce happens. You change your mind. It falls out of fashion. Whatever. You die. So they're not all sold. But probably it's like houses. Like how many houses fall out of it? That's a bad example. I think like 40% of houses fall out of escrow, but the supercars is probably like 80% stay in escrow.
Yeah,
Something like
a few. Yeah,
that. Yeah.
things shuffle around, but yeah, I mean that's been a big change.
But that's why they're all doing it though, is because the Quail is where you sell them. You used to
Yeah.
you sell them
Yeah.
at Geneva. Geneva's gone.
Yeah.
So this is where you have all your customers, and then it's also it's like an auction in a way, because if you have a limited number, well better buy it now because it might be gone. So there's pressure, and then you're walking around with like your new mistress, and like you got to impress her. Like, oh yeah, I'm buying that. How much? 5 million? Put it on the black card.
I'll take
Um,
two.
Yeah.
right? So that's how it's done. So
Yeah.
that's what the Quail really has become for premium brands, like the hottest car show there is. I mean, but I mean, it's not saying much because every car show died, except for like they all died. I guess Goodwood, but that's kind of like the Quail, and even that's just not even the same because it's not as international as Pebble is. Goodwood's still mostly a UK thing. I mean, a lot of people come in, but it's still mostly UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know Chevy's showing up at the Quail. They're going to show their new fax machine car, the ZRX1 or whatever the hell it's called. And I stole that line. It's the best line of all time. But like, what a horrible name, ZRX.
It truly is. It truly is.
ZR1X or something.
Yeah.
ZR1X.
Yeah.
Like,
Of all the things it
like-
could have been, right?
Right.
I mean, ZR2, ZR, I don't know, ZR anything, Zora. They trademarked
Yes,
Zora
yes,
in the Chevy
yes,
Zora,
yes.
Corvette Zora. Anyhow, they're going to show that. So it's just become really big, and like I remember a couple of years ago, like Kia was there. Why was Kia there? Why not? It's a car show where people are buying shit. You're selling cars, go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people
Yeah.
are in the mindset. I think it was last year. Matt said he was at either Maserati or Lambo and happened to be standing next to a couple who were in a serious conversation. Okay, well, which color are we getting on this one, and which color are we getting? And he's like, it's just those are just the normal conversations that you hear.
Oh,
that people are.
I remember. This was getting on 10 years ago, probably, but I was at some house Aston Martin had rented, and I was talking to my friend Matt, who used to work there, and they were letting cars out for a test drive, and a guy comes back, he goes, "I'll take it," and he goes, "Oh, great! I'm gonna get you in touch with. We have a dealer rep over there. They'll point you to the right dealer." He's like, "No, I want the car I just drove. Plus, I want another one, a different color for my wife, and I want a repeat for and I'll write you a check. How much?" And
we'll
like
just
it
take
was
it
like a
home now.
$1.5 million check or something. But like you just like wanted it then and there because like why not? I write him a check.
Yeah.
Relatable as we
Right.
say.
Car work is surreal, and I think it's also magical, right? I mean, I feel like every time you go, you come away and something magic has happened. Last year, I bumped into our friend Bruce Meyer, and the next thing I knew, we were at Chip Connor's place checking out his collection. I mean, it's like, where else does that happen, right? It's I think it's still worth going. I think a lot of people have written it off because it's just too much of a shit show. It's gotten too expensive. But I mean, it's an
Hey,
amazing
better for me. I
experience.
go regardless. So if you don't
Yeah,
want to go, great.
yeah.
Don't go.
Well,
It was hard for me to get stuck behind.
what's the most amazing thing that's happened to you at Car Week? Like there's always something special. I think every year that happens while you're there.
I mean, the first time it was like blah 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 with blah blah and Jonny Lieberman and Jerry Seinfeld. That was pretty neat to be, build like our names next to each other.
That was cool. That's
most magical. Gosh. It's a really hard one to say. I mean, funniest. I maybe think in terms of humor more. But one time, Motor Trend, we used to do the live broadcast, and I was interviewing Leno, and
for Pebble.
At Pebble, yeah. And I was interviewing. We had Leno up there, and something wasn't going right. We're having all kinds of like technical difficulties, and Jay was like asking like what's happening, and I'm like, Jay, it's TV, like I know you don't know anything about it, but leave it to me. You're in good hands, and that was pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, honestly, like the cars. I mean, as silly as that sounds, but like, seeing all the not all, but 20 some odd of the 250 GTOs that exist, that was like a once in a lifetime moment.
Yeah.
There was some kind of crazy couple years ago. There was a Bentley 8-liter race car, which I never even heard of, but it had been built. And it was insane, and that was there. And just the cars.
What about? I know I've heard you talk about the moment. I don't know if it was the first time you met Jerry in person, but I think it was at the fire pits.
Oh, it was great. He said, I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, "Hey, can I borrow your lighter?" And that was it. That's all he said to me all night. It was really a wonderful moment. It was great. Well, now, I was sitting next to James Marsden. I was having a great conversation with him. But yes, the first night I met Seinfeld, that's what he said to me. It was
He's done a couple films, right? I think I know the name.
Marsden? Yeah, one or two.
Yeah.
He's a Sonic the Hedgehog. He's a big Sonic guy.
That's where I know him from. That's what it is. Well, but where was it when Jerry turned to you and he goes, "Oh, you're Lieberman"? Was it that same night?
Oh, no. Okay, that's a funny story. No.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
It wasn't night, it was day. No, so yeah, it might have been earlier that day, or maybe it was the next day, but there's this car. It's at the Mercedes Classic Center, and it doesn't really have a name, but it's like an E60 AMG Rennsport thing mashup that was made for Seinfeld. Like, he did like a Mercedes commercial, and rather than pay him money, they built a car for him. And this car's been talked about on Spike's podcast like ad nauseum, but and so it was this hopped up sedan, real fast, and it had a really weird interior, which apparently Jerry was eating oatmeal and blueberries for breakfast, and they said, Seinfeld, what color do you want the interior? And he said like oatmeal and blueberries. So it's got this weird like mush gray with like. It's the only Mercedes, I believe, in the world that has blueberry-colored leather. It's actually blueberry.
And it is quite blueberry.
Yeah, blueberry accents. And anyhow, Jerry had the car for a while, and then he said he offered it to Spike, or Spike bought it. I don't remember. Anyways, it came to California, and Spike's people were prepping it, and they were just using a razor blade and getting everything off the window. And there was apparently some sticker which made the car registerable, able to be registered in New York. And it was removed. And then Spike opened the door and he saw the sill plate that said JS. And he's like, I don't want this car. So he said, Jerry, money back. I don't want the car. So the car goes back to New York. And Spike told me Jerry's been mad at him twice. And I can't tell you what the first one was. But the second one was because he took that sticker off. And Jerry now had a car he couldn't register. And I forget the whole story, but it wound up in Mexico, and it wound up at like Mercedes of Mexico. But it wound up because it could be registered in Mexico, just not in the U.S. Because it was never federalized. But it had some like temporary, make an exception sticker, which was removed. And no way to get another one. Anyhow, the car made its way back from Mexico to San Diego, I think, and then the Classic Center out here in California got a hold of it. So now it lives there. They brought it to Pebble, and I knew of this car, and I think Mercedes said it was a Seinfeld car. So I told Spike, he's like, "Oh my God, you have it!" Like, you have to show it to Jerry, you know. So, um, and I was like, great, I have it. I'll meet him. And we met at Spanish Bay at like 10 a.m. or whatever it was, and like he was actually standing there with Zuckerman, and I walked up. And I was like, "Hey, you're Seinfeld, right?" And joking, and he's like, "Yeah, you're Lieberman, right?" Something I don't even remember
Oh.
the joke, something like that. And then we went and talked to the car. But what I learned very quickly was that you don't want to actually ever be around Jerry in public because he's ultra famous. He's not a famous person. He's an ultra famous person that everybody had in their living room for a decade. So they feel very, very familiar. And so while you're mid conversation, everybody, especially rich guys, walk up and go, "Oh, hey, Jerry, remember it was 1998. You were standing in the corner of First Street and Second Avenue, and I was eating a raisin bagel, and you said you liked my shoe." And Jerry's like, "What?" So it wasn't a very good conversation.
Yeah.
Outside of that
It
little
was
exchange.
cool to hear him tell me about the car. So
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
got to see that car, what,
Yeah.
spring, I think? Or no, in the fall at the Classic Center.
yeah, me and you, yeah. And it had Jerry's old cell phone number in it,
Yes.
That's awesome.
and Larry David's, and everybody's. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the same number still, Larry David's, right?
It's not. We actually I had
okay.
Spike double check everything. It's
Ah.
not,
Right.
but it was all the original numbers, and like the phone turns on, but it can't call out because it's like a 2G, and just
Right.
the 2G networks are gone or whatever.
It's not supported.
yeah.
But
But
for
the
a
phone
moment,
powers up, and
Right.
if you could,
for a minute, because we were there with Mike Coons, who Ryan,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Nate Lander, who is
Yeah.
the magician shop extraordinaire restorer. And we all kind of went, wait a minute, we could call whoever's in the phone.
just what they want. Yeah.
Right.
Do you remember
Hey,
what a
guys.
status symbol that was to have a phone in the car with a little like curly, wire, antenna? And I mean, it was just
I mean, I
I used to
remember.
sell fake ones.
I remember the brick phones.
Yeah.
I remember in the '70s, my neighbor Al, who was some kind of mafia dude, had
Yes.
a Cadillac that had it was like a Coupe de Ville, but he had one of those like limo boomerang antennas on the back, and he had he just had a phone. It was just literally like a white old corded phone wired in the car, and he would drive to Vegas constantly, and he'd talk
No
on his phone.
reason.
And I was like 4 years old, but I remember being like very aware that Mike had this red Cadillac with red leather, and it had a phone, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that would leave an impression.
Yeah, I was
amazing.
I was very aware of cars at that point, but I'd never seen a phone in a car. That was
That's
crazy.
That's
yeah,
next level
yeah,
at that point.
yeah,
Well, so
yeah.
was it? I was thinking about, because I've been able to walk the lawn at Pebble with you a few times, and I think last year, was it a Cadillac that was 24 feet long?
No, that was a couple years ago. It was a 27-footer. That was a V16 coupe. Unless you're thinking there was like a crazy Mercedes that was like hella long. It was a custom Mercedes, but
It was a custom.
Was it 2-door or 4-door? Because there was a 2-door Cadillac that I think was 27 feet. It was a 31, I think.
It was a 4-door convertible, and it had been custom.
Okay, that was
built.
not a Cadillac. That was some custom Mercedes. I think it was insane.
Yeah.
That was totally bizarro. Yeah. That was.
And
that was
I think it was wider too. Like it was. I mean, it looked.
it was humongous. It was
Yeah.
it was an oversized car. Yeah, but there was an even bigger Cadillac V16 coupe that, in a perfect world, would have won. It didn't win because
Yeah.
it wasn't a perfect restoration. Blah blah. Judge bullshit. But it was the most elegant car there by about 10 feet. So should have won.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
do
it was-
like old cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
doesn't?
So when are we going to get you on the Colorado Grand? Speaking of Mike Coons, is this something
Yeah.
you've ever wanted to do?
Sure.
Yeah.
You just
I
have
mean,
to
know a
be
guy.
invited.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would do it. I mean, I would need someone to fly me out there, put me up,
Yeah.
and give me a car. But yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
my
feel like
standard
Ryan knows
demands,
the right people.
my
Yeah,
standard
yeah.
list of demands. Yeah, and I have to drive. I don't want to navigate. and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. I mean,
Love to
I'm
see you sometime.
qualified. I drove the Mille Miglia or whatever. however
You
it's
did.
pronounced, Mille.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then this
Bowling.
is and that that's
Yeah.
hardcore. This is more of a
Yeah.
gentleman's event. Yeah. So that's.
Well, I'm not a gentleman, but I'm pretty hardcore. So yeah. Well, totally.
Tell
I
us
would
about
totally
that though. What's that like to drive?
Oh, what's the greatest experience on planet Earth like? Well,
Yeah.
it is, let's see, you go to a company ruled by passion, and their love of racing, and 2 million people stand on the street and cheer for 4 days as you break every single traffic law in the country. And
Only in Italy, right?
only in Italy. There's
Yeah.
nowhere else this could happen. But like grandmothers, like I remember afterwards, I was flying somewhere, and we're on the, we're flying out of like, Bologna to Rome to fly home. So we're on a little plane. So, you have to take a bus to the plane, right? So we're in the bus and we're crammed in. I have my backpack on, and my bag is tagged with, Mille Miglia competitor. And this, like, I remember this old, couldn't stand up grandmother was like looking at my bag and looking, and she grabs the label and she's looking at it. She goes, competizione? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, and she like wants a selfie, and she's freaking out. And yeah, it's I don't know where to start, but
That's
yeah,
amazing.
like they got 25 of the most handsome Italian bike cops in the country that like fucking peacock, and they're very aware of who they are.
Yeah.
And they're your escort, and they lead you out of town, and if traffic's slow, they ride up between cars and smack the roof to like get them to part the way.
Amazing.
And you just drive as hard as you can, and people are holding up signs that say don't lift. And the Gullwing we were in had a passenger horn, which is I've now seen two. There's the 56 Gullwing we were in, and for some reason Subaru's current rally car has the strongest car has a passenger, a foot activated one. The Mercedes one's a push one. And yeah, just every traffic circle is just lined with people, and you try and take it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, your navigator's just like honking the horn, and like
That's epic.
it's insane, and it's the greatest. And like, we pull into Rome at I don't know 10:30 Saturday night, and they have a little stage set up, and so you queue up and you drive up on the stage and you learn how to say like, I love Italy, I love Italians, you're the greatest, whatever, 2 phrases of Italian, the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
Then they line you up, and they give you a police-led midnight tour of Rome, and you're in a Gullwing, so you pop the doors open so you have a better view, and you're just driving next to the Colosseum. Yeah, it's undescribable.
Surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Incredible.
greatest.
Incredible.
My favorite moment of that, we went to Monza, and so it's a rally, right? So it's not a race, it's a rally. So you have these stupid special sections, which I hate, but it's like go 37 kilometers an hour for 32 seconds, then go 41 kilometers an hour for 5 seconds, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you don't have an Italian passport, you're not going to win anyways. So, anyway, so
Word to the wise.
Yeah, but Mercedes being Mercedes, they got to do it better than everybody.
Yeah.
So instead of just giving you a clipboard like a normal company would do, they built an app on an iPad. Remember when iPads were all the rage? And what it did was it had the sections, and so the navigator would hit start, and it would like visually count down a bar graph, and then you'd know when to start the next one, right?
Yeah.
Which is great when there's like 4 parts of the special section. Monza had 7, which meant when it loaded, the top 2 got scrolled up, like they were out of sight. So when my navigator hit start, he started on number 3. So anyway, so we're on Monza, we're doing that. We're on the old track with the banking, and after like 2 or 3, he realizes his mistake because it's not adding up. I have no idea what navigators do, but it's not adding up. And he's like, oh my God, man, I ruined it. I've ruined it for you. And we're going, like 50 kilometers an hour on the, under the banking. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I just like roll on the throttle, pop up completely sideways on the banking, pass everybody at 110 miles an hour.
Amazing.
Best moment of my life.
Amazing.
Like, pass,
Amazing. Amazing.
$1 billion worth of cars.
Amazing.
And yeah, that was the best. And he was apologizing. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
It's the experience. We always talk about like what our 12-year-old selves be proud of the people we are. Johnny, I'm turning 50 this year. I know you just turned 50. Your 12-year-old self, I think would be pretty proud.
Nah, he'd think I was a horrible seller. Actually, 12-year-old, yeah. My 16-year-old self would be very upset. Yeah. My 12-year-old would be pretty impressed.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, so 50. So I'm turning 50. You just turned 50. I know Lindsay's only halfway there.
Don't do it. Big mistake. You're going to regret it.
It's like you blink and then you're 50. Like, I don't know where the time went. But
yeah.
what have you learned? Like, what would you have done differently, if anything? Because it's, you sort of seem to have it figured out.
I don't know. Jesus. What would I have done different? I would have gone into like commercial real estate or
finance,
or something where I made a lot of money. Make a lot of I'm sick of thinking about money. It's not that I'm like material. I just don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to like. If I just want to sit on the couch for a week, fucking let me. I've learned it. Can't do that. So I would make a lot more money. Sadly, but or leave the country, like move to Italy, man.
Speaking of Italy,
becoming more and more
eat lasagna
by the day,
dream of cars, like
what
what a life.
Drive the Mille Miglia every year, all the time. Like this place.
I've learned nothing, and you just feel worse, and you're uglier and grayer and fatter and slower and dumber, and there's no positives about turning 50. Nothing.
Yeah. I can confirm all this to be true, and
just wait. It's worse. Yeah.
It's worse than they say.
Yeah.
And it's like a big number. It ain't like
it is. I know.
30.
I'm struggling with it.
It's like once it hits, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Did you do anything crazy to celebrate or take your mind off it or anything?
No. Went out to dinner with friends.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, and here we are. Yeah.
Like I haven't cared about birthdays since I was 30. And I remember for some reason I was like, it was a big deal turning 30, and then I turned 30 and like, it's just whatever, and I was like,
I know.
Stop thinking about birthdays. So I'm just really bad with like anniversaries and stuff like that. I just don't care. So
can't do anything about it, So.
Yeah.
I mean, it beats the alternative though.
That's true. At least you're right.
I mean, does it? I'm getting tired.
I remember a few years ago, I had two grandparents say to me, like, don't get old. It's not worth it. And I'm like, but A, we don't have a choice. And it beats the alternative, at least, I'll let you know if that perspective changes. But, and this, this kind of ties in with, as you get older, what you're learning and whatever. With your career, there's so much travel involved, and you have opportunities that keep you on the road a lot or keep things busy. Do you ever feel like you're getting burned out with doing all these things, or is it?
No. I'm shaking my head. No. Oh no. The opposite. I wish I was doing more. I
really.
Yeah. I love it. Like I said, I just in the last month I did the F80 in Italy, and then I went to Utah and I drove a bunch of stuff, including a 911, 73 911 RS lightweight, which is
so good. So
rare
good.
Dog. Yeah, kind of one of the greatest things ever made.
Yeah.
I drove that. I drove a Aston Martin Valor, which is rad. Great car. I went to the Festival of Speed. I didn't get to drive anything, sadly, but that was fun. Went over there. Goodwood.
Goodwood's always amazing.
Yeah, and then I went and I drove the Temerario, and I never even talked about it, but I also went to France right after Portugal and drove the Bugatti Mistral, which is the final boss of hypercars. It is the one. It is.
Now, was that the blue one? It was like a royalish blue.
Yeah.
It was exposed blue carbon fiber, which photographed very well on my little iPhone, with orange wheels and a perfect interior, and that is the car. That is the daddy. That is that's if I had a lot of money, I'm buying that car.
Had you gone into commercial real estate and found yourself?
Absolutely, I would have had a Mistral. Oh.
You can't seriously picture yourself doing anything but what you're doing, right?
I could be rich and just have a bunch of cars and not have to do these.
But isn't this better? Isn't this life better?
Nah. Nah. I would love to own that Mistral, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's that's a real car, as we say.
Well, that's saying something because, like you said, I was going to ask
real money
you.
too.
You posted, even
it's
after,
like $5.5 million before options. I'm sorry, Lindsay. What was that?
No, even after doing this as long as you have, you said like the last month has been particularly epic, and you've had some pretty epic experiences. So,
I don't know if it's particularly epic, kind of normal epic. And by the way, in between that, I forget the cars I was driving when I was here, but I I know there was like a Storado, and I drove the M5 Touring, and a bunch of
Yeah.
other cars were when I was back home. I was driving stuff. So, no. I'm not burnt out at all. The opposite.
Yeah.
I'm hungry for much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good. I mean, that means you're enjoying the work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing too is, oh, my alarm's going off. Oh yes.
It's time.
I
For what?
bought lotto tickets today, so
Oh.
the drawings right now. But they're
Speaking
Here
in
comes
of,
your Bugatti. It's going to happen.
Hey, dude, if I
Will
win
it into
340
being.
million, I'm saying it here. I'm buying a Mistral.
It's
If I
Mistral
win-
time, guys.
Fucking Mistral money. If I win 340 million, I'm gonna take 5.5 of that and get me a Mistral. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, at that point, maybe you get 2. Like, come on.
Nah, doesn't have a
You go-
roof, so
Right.
yeah, but that's okay. It doesn't rain a lot here. But I'm sorry. What was the question? I got the alarm set me off.
We got distracted. We got
Yeah.
distracted planning your future Mistral ownership.
Hey, I know that Edwin Castro guy pretty good. He's the one
Yeah.
who won like,
Right.
1.8 billion, and he just bought cars and houses. I would pretty much do the same thing. I can't imagine much. Maybe a couple watches or something stupid, but.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
but there was a question there. My alarm ruined it.
It's all good.
Well, speaking of watches, what are you wearing tonight?
Yeah. I've got, hey.
Ooh,
Sheffield Party?
Very nice. Sheffield
Nice. I
Party
like that watch
indeed.
very
Look at
much.
that.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
Yeah.
This is the Leno thing. Jay Leno driving watch
Great.
with
That is a
kind
great
of a
watch.
fun camo Horus strap on it. I'm
Horus
kind of
is
into
great.
it now. I gotta send this one back to Jay because it can't keep time for shit. But I
Oh.
really like how it looks. It just runs fast. I've never had to watch it like you wind it up.
Oh.
And after an hour, it's 5 minutes
Huh.
fast. It's weird. Yeah.
It heard that you don't like getting old and you're kind of over it. So it's like, let's just speed things up.
Yeah, probably something
We'll
Can I
like
just
buy
get
one
you
that goes
the
the other? That's the other problem, please.
or just
Yeah,
work.
that's it.
But I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Great watch.
Well, Jay
Yeah.
is the best. He is such a cool guy,
Yeah.
a true enthusiast, great guy. We just found out today that we'll be working with him again, so we're very excited about that. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Big fan of the watches, and he's a great guest too. He was great on Spikes. He's just he's a neat guy. So
Yeah.
I think we've all been lucky enough to spend some time with him, and he's just cool, and he's so generous. I mean, I
he
just
really is.
I just
He's
got
got to
this
stop. I've got
black
like
diver.
50 Sheffields. Yeah, it's
Oh, I know.
out of control. Out of control.
Yeah. Do you have time to take some listener questions?
I got all the time.
You want to do that, Lindsay?
Should we go to the listeners? We can do that. Let me pull those up.
Do you
What
know
are the-
Dan McInnes? Is that name familiar to you? Okay, they mentioned him.
You know him from Good Vibes. He's the one that won the blue GT4 the night.
Yes.
Of
Oh, Dan.
that
Yeah.
one party.
Yeah.
Colorado guy. Yeah, Dan's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hit 100,000 miles on his green Spider this week, so good for you.
Yeah, well, he drives to LA
Dan?
every day. So
Right.
I know. That's-
why doesn't he just move? I don't get the people like that are weird.
Because
Colorado's
then
pretty
where
nice.
would he drive to?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's going to be on the Grand this year. He's got this amazing Alpha, this Giulia Sprint Speciale, which will be great. He's going to drive with his dad. So, but he wants to know how you manage saying yes to doing things and not getting burned out, or is the work reward enough? And I think you kind of answered this before. You still enjoy it, right? It's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't understand this burnout thing. Like, who's burning
Yeah.
out? Like, people, like, if you're like working out in the sun, like, without a hat or something, maybe you burn out, or
Sure,
I don't know,
sure.
like spreadsheets or something that
Yeah.
sucks. But like, gee, I had to fly to Portugal, business class, stay in a hotel, drive a 907 horsepower car on an old F1 track. I'm
Darn
so
it.
burnt out.
I mean,
This
Like,
is
that is
awful.
the dream. Yeah, it's
yeah. Now look, did I have a fucking travel day coming? So let's say I woke up in France in Strasbourg, and then we drove to Switzerland, and we flew to Lisbon where we had a 4-hour layover, and then flew to DC because Lamborghini friggin' cheaped out and bought us the cheapest plane
really?
tickets possible. And we got to DC and had a 5-hour layover with no lounge, which turned into a 6-hour layover. And
Also with no
man,
lounge.
that sucked. That was a 27-hour travel day.
wow.
I slept most of the way, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me about the pink Audi that you saw in Strasbourg? Because that was
Apparently, it was like Jacques Villeneuve's. It was Jacques Villeneuve
Really?
in the car. Yeah,
Really?
everyone tagged him. Apparently, that was him. I didn't look. I looked at the photo. Obviously, I wasn't looking at the driver, but I looked at that photo, and I took and he looked, and it's at the back of his head is like man, a white guy with gray hair, but apparently, yeah, it's Jacques Villeneuve in a Barbie pink Audi. Like, yeah, it was like totally insane. It was in front of a church, like catty corner from our hotel. We literally were pulling the bags out of the car, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get a picture real fast.
you're like, look at that.
Yeah, it was just a cool shot. Yeah.
Like, and especially the contrast of the pink against like the historic building. It was just the picture was really cool.
I should have got a better picture of the church. It was a particularly nice church. It was like super. I don't know what you call it. Not Gothic, but Middle Ages. It was just that architecture style, like the 1500 style church. Still there, so like the German-y kind of Middle Ages thing, even though Strasbourg's technically in France, it wasn't always in France.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. They like to mix it up. Yeah.
Yeah, every couple hundred years.
Right. They're like, we're going to just, so our friend John Dicey said, when are you coming back to Pikes?
Yeah, look.
How much time do you have?
It's not time. That's a money thing. I can make the time. That's just a cash thing, and it's just like, like if I could get a ride with like Hyundai, I should actually just call Hyundai and pitch this. But like, if Hyundai,
you heard it here first.
Actually, I think I've said it somewhere else before. But anyways, it's a putting it out there type of plan.
Right, manifesting.
Yeah. Like Hyundai said, hey, you could drive an Ioniq like up the hill. That would be cool, and then they could just pay for everything. But when I did it, I think I raised $58,000 in sponsorship money, and my total I spent was $75,000. So now part of that was because the motherfuckers at Visit Cayman Island yanked their sponsorship after the race. Yeah, they were like, oh well, so checks in the mail, and then race is over, and I'm like, hey, I need the money, and they're like, yeah. And
fuck that. That's
So that was. I'm still upset about that, but yeah. So I went out of pocket about.
I'm sorry. Cayman Islands, the home of shell companies and.
Yeah. Those ethical, morally upright.
Yeah.
Well, the lesson here is don't visit Cayman Islands, and then we move.
Yeah. Well, it was just one of these weird things where Porsche had given me the car, but they're like, oh, we sort of had this deal going with Visit Cayman Islands this year. Could you leave half the livery on the car, Visit Cayman Islands, and they'll pay for X, Y, and Z? And I was like, yeah. That's great. And then they didn't, so it really hosed me. And so $17,000 out of pocket, which sucked. So
it's
a money thing for me. I'm just not that wealthy. I wish I was.
Well.
So
maybe Hyundai is listening, and that was actually our next question.
Maybe
Pat's
Hyundai is
Curtains
listening.
on Instagram. Yeah, when do we see an EV run? So I guess that would.
I would love to do an EV. I would do anything other than what I drove. Yeah, I want a front drive turbo or an EV. Yeah, that would be.
Well, let's talk about what you drove, because I am a huge fan of the GT4. I know that you were less than impressed at altitude.
It's a great car everywhere but Pikes Peak. Yeah.
That's it.
It's just look. It's a naturally aspirated, 6-cylinder that 415 horsepower stock, which isn't a lot for Pikes Peak. But at the top of the mountain, it's making 252 horsepower.
Yep.
So it's pretty gutless. Could I have handled a faster car? Yeah, I think I could have. But that wasn't so much the problem, though. It was just that it's there's 23 hairpins, and so there's 23 first gear hairpins in a rear drive car, and like you want something yanking you out of the corners. This is why, with the exception of like the real purpose built Indy F1 looking things, everything's all wheel drive because it helps. It really does help coming off those slow corners. Look, and the car was absolutely awesome, and and it was I'm just sort of bitter because my run was totally fogged in.
That's right.
Yeah, short change
that really
for sure.
bizarre weather.
Yeah, it sucked because like it just not that I was gonna win my class because Lonnie Unser was ahead of me, but also freaking what's his face? Oh God, I can see his face. Okay, Cam Ingram,
Oh yeah,
who was like a man possessed that year.
Yeah.
Just the most incredible, really the most incredible run of the year. I don't know what
Yeah.
got into him.
Yeah.
But in practice, I was like a solid third, and I came in fourth. And it was just in my mind, it was the fog. I just slowed down.
No, that's a well, yeah. I mean, you had a great run though, so
I don't know.
I had a. If you look at, I'm making excuses. If you look at the bottom sector times where it wasn't foggy, I was doing really, really well. I wasn't. Here's the crazy thing. If you look, and I don't remember the numbers, but like Randy Popes was in the Tesla Model S, and I wasn't that far off his time on the bottom section. But then once the fog hit, I was very slow. Fourth place out of six. It was, in my class, it was okay, but it was two things. It was like a bad run. It was just and I'm sitting at the top, and I'm sitting next to like Zwart, Randy Post, Reese Millen, Rod Millen, David Donahue, the other David, King of the Mountain guy. Donner, thank you. And like 2 centuries collectively of experience at Pikes Peak, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's the worst we've ever seen it." I'm like, great. Just so the rookie wants to hear.
Right.
Well, then this year, I think they only did the very bottom section, right?
That sucks.
That really,
They said it was wind.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Well, they were saying the aero cars would get blown off the mountain.
That's it. that's
okay, you don't want that.
We want to avoid that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But it was just, it's extreme weather. I mean, we had, I had 2 weeks of practice there, and beautiful every day, sun, perfect weather, and then you're done Friday, Saturday night, 10 inches of snow, and then wake up on Sunday morning, it's raining and foggy, and you're driving through snow. The rain is melting, but still driving through snow. So it was just the mountain has a different agenda than the race.
Well, shout out to Fred Veach and that crew and our friends at Porsche of Colorado Springs.
I'll tell you a funny Fred story.
So he's quite a guy. He's quite a character. So
quite a character is an understatement. So Fred, if you can picture like a larger, heavier Jeremy Clarkson, who's 10 years older, that's Fred.
Yes.
So this very large man who's introduced to me is like, "Oh, this is the guy who runs everything," and he goes, "Lieberman, you motherfucker." Excuse me? He's like, "I've been number 73 since 1973, and they gave me my number, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, oh, gosh. Well, I had no idea. And also, like, my mom just died, and when I played football, my freshman year, I was 73, and I always hated it, and I changed it to 77. And for years, my mom was always like, "I like 73. So when I was thinking of a number, I said, "Oh, my mom just died. I'll go with that." And he's like, "That's my fucking number."
You think he'd be in a position to do something about it, but it's.
That's what I told him. He was furious. But,
that's amazing.
That's
amazing.
You're like, it's very nice to meet
you. And the larger context is that it's full of provincial weirdos out there in Colorado.
Well, that's the whole thing.
They're not normal.
Yeah. Those people have been doing it for generations, and it's a very unique event, for better or worse. So it's, yeah.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people don't realize is the way that you get to practice is you only get a section. You never get to do the entire course until the race.
Yeah. That's the weirdest thing. Well, I mean, look, first of all, if you haven't, I'm sure you've had other people talking about Pikes on the show?
No.
No, we haven't, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so here's your practice days at Pikes. Alarm goes off at 2:20 a.m. You're down at the shop where the car is at 3 a.m. You're loaded on the trailer at 3:30. You start making your way up the mountain. They open the gate at, I want to say, like 4:15 a.m. You trudge up to the parking lot where you start, and that's like 9,300 feet. And driver's meeting is like 4:55 a.m., and green flag at 5 a.m. and you're third. You're only running a third. So one day you run like the bottom, one day you run the middle, one day you run the top, and vice versa. And because they don't want us idiots crashing into each other, they put like a quarter-mile buffer between the sections. So there's like a good half mile of the course that you never run in practice. Really? Ever. You never, ever drive it in practice.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
So
like a fun
That I didn't
surprise. Yeah.
yeah, and then red flag at 8:30, meaning you're done. You know, you're off, and then you have to be out of the parking lot where you're parked by 9 a.m. because then it's a public road.
Right.
And you do that every day for a couple days in a row. So it's a real like training yourself to go to bed by 7 p.m. What I did was like as soon as we were done racing, I would just start consuming like 600 milligrams of caffeine, and I would just be wired all day to make sure I didn't fall asleep. And then I would eat like 3 or 4 thousand calorie dinner and put on a Roger Moore James Bond film, which would knock me unconscious in 5 minutes because they're so bad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was my protocol. Totally
Oh,
worked. Totally
that's
worked.
great. That's
Yeah,
excellent. That's
yeah.
excellent. Was it terrifying? I mean, because there are, it was manageable. Huh?
No, like I could see how it could be terrifying.
Sure.
But yeah, you're just driving, you know. I think like the 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 three to me, well, four, but there's three tricky things about Pikes Peak, and it's the same thing three times. There are corners that look just like other corners. So famously, there's Engineer's Corner. Less famously, there's Rookie Corner because Rookie Corner looks just like Engineer, but it's much slower, and so rookies tend to crash in Rookie Corner. There's Pope's Pond, where Randy Popes famously flew 300 feet over a pond. He missed the pond. And then that faster pastor guy crashed into the pond. So it's Pope's Pond, Pastor's Pond, or whatever.
Oh boy.
But that corner that Randy flew, I almost did it too. I just wasn't going as fast as he was. But like in practice, it looks just like literally just like another corner. And then there's the Evo corner, which there's up in the middle section where it's the real precipitous drops. And then where that Evo went off in 2012.
Right.
The
That's
third
terrifying.
one,
Yeah.
there's three corners that look exactly the same, but the third one is much, much tighter. It visually looks identical. You just have to know where you are and just like get off of the right, get over to the left, because it's just you can't do it. And which I drove in complete fog, but luckily I had the course memorized. And then the other one I think that's kind of hard but you learn it up near the top. It's like the third corner from the top or fourth corner. It's called Cog Cut Corner. So there's that cog train.
Yes.
That goes up, and it's like when you're on the road, it's the last place you can see the cog track before you get to the top. And just because it's so, just the terrain up there, it's so bumpy and frozen, and those water trucks have to bring all the water up, and the buses are just ruining the road. It's really, really bumpy in that section, and the mountain's shifting under it all the time. So it's a big, big straight with a bumpy braking zone. So your front end tends to get airborne, so you're on the brakes, but the wheels aren't in contact with the pavement, and a lot of people crash there and hit the train track. That's tricky. I almost went off, but then you're like, oh, I should take a different line because it's just a longer braking zone than it looks like it would be.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Huh.
Yeah. So
I just think it's the coolest thing that you did it. I mean, that's
yeah. I mean,
big deal.
my favorite story, and I should tell this more often, but like it was like the day before I was leaving to get on the plane. You guys know who Eddie Alterman is?
Sure.
I know the name. Yeah.
So Eddie used to be the editor-in-chief of Car and Driver. Now he's like the head of car content at Hearst or something. But he sends me a fucking text and he goes like, "Hey man, like enjoy Pikes, like don't pull a Bedard." And I was like,
oh, that's a callback. Yeah.
Yeah. So Pat Bedard raced Indy.
Yeah.
And crashed at over 200 miles an hour. And Pat was a car journalist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, Eddie? Like, why would you send me that after the race? Like it was passive aggressive, because it was like Motor Trend at the time. Hearst didn't know Motor Trend. It was really kind of
You're
so
like, on that
But
note,
only
I'm
one
off
of
to
you-
drive the race.
I didn't crash. I made it to the top.
No.
Which in that weather,
he wasn't
is no
racing
small
Pikes
feat.
Peak, so
Look, I'm sure Indy's. I was going to say harder, but Pikes is really difficult. It's really tricky. It's a tricky thing. It's just a lot of memorization. Like Indy's 4 corners. How hard could it be? Pikes is 150 something.
yeah.
So, but Indy, you're going very fast. So.
It's 100. It's more than 150 corners at Pikes.
It's weirdly identical to the Nürburgring in terms of like distance and corners. Like it's like It's like they're both 12 miles or thereabouts, and they're both 150. I think one's 153 and one's 156, or vice versa. But yeah, it's the
Very
same.
similar.
It's the same length, and you got to memorize the same amount of stuff, and so.
Well, and I feel like you can drive the entire Nürburgring. I think that would have been the hardest part for me is memorizing it,
Right.
especially when there's sections you don't get to drive in real life. Because I know you did a lot of sim training for that, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of sim, but I remember talking to Zwart, and he's like, "Yeah, it's my 20th year, and that means I've driven the whole thing 20 times, only ever, you know." And it's crazy to think, but that's just how it is. That's how they do it for safety and for practice.
Yeah.
You know why they couldn't close this
Well-
precious public road for like 2 more hours and like let us do it. I don't know, but and then now they'll rent it
I'll
out.
tell
to,
you
like,
why,
Lamborghini.
Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's a
go
toll
ahead.
road, and they're missing out. If for every hour that it's closed, they're not bringing in that income. That's
I was gonna say now they rent it out, so like Lamborghini rented it, and you know they set a Pikes Peak record, but they didn't do it in competition. So I say it doesn't count.
Right.
You
Closed
got
course is a
day
different.
of in competition with everybody else. So
Yeah, you got to be in that headspace. Well, so tell us about driving with Johnny. Like, how's that going? You just launched?
yeah. So I finally started my own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 10 years too late, but whatever, I'm doing it. Yeah, it's just me driving cars. And I've noticed it's me driving cars and then telling a lot of stories while I drive cars. And so I'm not, you know, it's not a straight review. It's a lot of anecdotal nonsense. So if you've enjoyed this podcast, boy, you'd love driving with Johnny.
but that's what's missing
And,
from so
why
many
people tune
YouTube
in.
channels. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, somebody made the point the other day. They're like, you know, oh, I really like your reviews because everyone else is like, oh, the suspension's too stiff.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And I will be like, yeah, the suspension's too stiff. And I remember talking to BMW engineers, and we're like, everybody else has air suspension. Why don't you have air suspension? And they give us this cock and bull story, and then the next generation they have air suspension. So
Yeah.
that's like the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot of that. And then I started, and it's just easy. I sit right here. I kind of have the camera more like this. You can see more of the backyard. But I did this segment called, or the show thing called Talking with Johnny, where
Right.
it's like a Q&A, and it's I just kind of BS for like 20 minutes and answer people's questions. And that's really fun. I've really enjoyed that much more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I kind of just did it like, you know, it's just one of those things like, I was, you know, we're putting out one review video a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's not enough. You got to do more content, which you don't have to do. But I was freaking out. So I just said, like, what can I film myself and not fuck up? And I fucked the first one up, so you never saw that. But, yeah.
That was the draft version.
That was the no audio. So, it was, you know, if you can read lips, it was fantastic. So now we got Talking with Johnny. And then, like, when I went to Goodwood, I did a thing where I walked around and just kind of like just filmed what I was looking at. And some of it was with Schaefer. I interviewed some people, so that might become a segment like walking with Johnny. So I might do Car Week that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then like Lindsay went to the first one, but that Cars and Coffee that me and Sang are doing at the Helms Bakery. Last one,
Yeah.
we filmed some of it, but it really wasn't enough for its own video. But we're gonna film the next one, which September 21st.
Woo!
Yeah,
Be there.
Excellent.
September 21st. Yeah, mark your calendars if you want some coffee. But we're gonna film that, and so that'll be like a walking with Johnny, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, going crazy with this wonderful naming convention I came up with. But
We're gonna do all
no,
these with Johnny's. Yeah.
That's right.
it's going well. I mean, I can.
Yeah,
I
good.
got YouTube Studio right here. Let's see. I got. What are we up to? We're up to almost 8,000 subscribers, and that's pretty
That's
good
great.
for
Yeah.
a couple. It's been like almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going well. You know, making a little money already, which is exciting and way ahead of my own schedule. And
That's
and
always
really
nice.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's always nice.
Yeah, it was. I expected to make money, but the amount I'm making now, I was expecting to make in 4 months from now, if that makes sense, or 3 months from now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good.
Fantastic.
It's a little ahead of schedule. So
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's always a good surprise. Nobody's going to complain about that for sure.
I'm not complaining. I'm not
No.
complaining. No, I've really been enjoying it, and it's you know, I'll leave his name out of it, but an absolutely insane friend of mine was like, "Oh, you're gonna be making $300,000 a month," so I'm looking forward to that. And
Stay tuned. You heard it here first. Who needs commercial real estate when you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I mean, $300,000 a month.
This guy isn't from Denver, is he?
It's not quite Mistral money, but
I was going to say you'll be at a Mistral in no time.
well, take some time, but you know,
time.
I could get a slightly used Lamborghini of some variety. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that means a Mistral would be possibly possible as opposed to not at all.
I mean, boy, 5.5 million. That's before options, right? You know, like
That's the base.
Yeah.
actually. So
You don't
my
have to-
favorite thing about the Mistral, was there's the shifter has a little kind of glass cutout where there's an elephant reared up on its hind legs, and it's a Bugatti hood ornament from the Royale, and it's a reproduction of Rembrandt Bugatti, was Ettore Bugatti's brother, and he was a pretty well known sculptor at the time, and he used to sit at the zoo in Antwerp in Belgium, and sketch pictures of animals and then sculpt them. And he did this elephant up on its rear legs. But I'll never forget, I was reading the press release, and Achim, I can't remember his last name, but the head of design for Bugatti, Achim, he goes, yeah, you know, there's an elephant in there, but you could do whatever you want. You could do your wife, your kids, your dog, your elephant.
Yes. Yes.
I am really sick of having someone else's elephant in my gearshift lever. I really want my, you know, it's about time that Stampy got his own goddamn statue. You know what I mean? Like, so that was.
This is just unacceptable. What are we even doing here?
So I might buy, if I win the lotto, the 340 mil, I might buy an elephant and a Mistral, so I can get my own elephant.
That's amazing.
In the
That
in the
is
gearshift.
Amazing.
I don't want Rembrandt's stinky old elephant. Yeah.
None of this generic elephant nonsense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
An
Well,
Indian
fingers
elephant when you could have
crossed
had an
that
African
tonight is your
elephant.
night.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Right? Yeah.
We heard it here first.
Couple more,
I know.
listen-
Well, I know. I was going to
just
say.
It's just more elephant jokes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Ryan, go ahead.
we have time for a couple more listener questions, mostly because I want to
No
say
rush,
this
no rush.
person's Instagram handle, which is Hobo Wine Taster. He's a longtime listener with a great name. He would like to know the best tactile car experiences you ever have had. So I think he's thinking like Lotus Elise
as
type.
opposed to what, like disembodied car experiences?
Which guys
Tactile?
feel the...
Did you rise above the car?
If you had to go
Aren't
Helen
all
Keller
car
on a
experiences
car.
tactile? Yeah, I don't really know what he means. If he's like most memorable interior or something.
I'm thinking like, what are the cars where you just feel most at one with the car? I think is what he's going for.
The Mistral.
And that is the answer to everything, right? Like, you know, the answer is not Miata, it's Mistral.
Oh, no, Miata. No, Mistral.
Right on, right on.
We heard this answer already. We know.
Yes. I mean, to me, and again, this is my own weird hang-ups, but when I hear stuff like, what's the most tactile? What's the most analog? You know, like, if I said the 1903 Mercedes Simplex, you'd say like, oh, I don't know what that is, so I don't care about your answer. If I said, you know, if I said Nissan GTR, you'd say, oh, but I read that car has no soul because I went and I had the soul changed on my Porsche. Like, I hate stuff like this. Those are just weasel words for like people like, I hate progress. I'm a grumpy old man. So bullshit on your question, Hobo Wine Taster. I hate it.
If you don't sit
I
on
don't
a
want
wooden
tactile.
board while
You
you
heard it here
drive with a
first.
tiller,
They're all
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Here's one.
what is he talking about? Yeah, I don't. And again, I don't think he's even asking that question for him. I think he's trying to like fill a bucket to get like cred that like, oh, tactile means like naturally aspirated V10 manual. You know, like, hey, I drove a lot of those. They're called Vipers. They mostly suck. You know, so
the answer is not Viper.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm assuming the
yeah.
worst because I'm just in that frame of mind.
Here's the one from Scandamaniac. Scandamaniac, he likes the cars of the North. What 2000s car would you buy if you had to drive a 2000s car?
Does he mean like 2000 to 2010?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Porsche Carrera GT, which is the V10 manual. It's super tactile.
Yes.
But that's just a good retirement plan. But probably quicker and better handling than that would be like a Nissan GTR, which is probably my actual answer. I love me a GTR, and they came out in '08 as an '09 model, so that sneaks in there.
And they're old enough now.
I have such love for that car. And again, for all those, it doesn't have a soul, people. What the fuck are you talking about? B, like, if you're going to say, oh, it's too computerized. Well, first of all, it's like a 2009 computer. What the hell could it do? Nothing. Yeah. But also, like, if you just turn the traction control off, nothing's happening. Maybe the computer's deciding where to send the torque to the front axle, but like everyone does that. They just did it first, but they did it really, really, really well, and just unbelievably wonderful cars. That are actually are appreciated in the marketplace. Like, go look at used GTR prices.
Yeah.
Like, talk about not budging.
Yeah.
The kids on the internet, they're worried about souls and all that and whatever. But excellent car. I would love to have one of those.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is if you turn the traction control off, the soul goes back into the car.
Yeah. That's a soul back in.
Soul is code for it. Yeah.
The soul not having soul is code for being like made by Asian people instead of white people. That's all that is. Because somehow German cars have a soul automatically because they're German, but the Nissan doesn't. So that's just some racist, funky BS.
There's a lot going on there. I think on that note, we will say that's all for this week.
All right.
We've covered so much, and it was so good to see you and catch up. And I'm excited for your YouTube channel. And see where it goes from there.
Driving with Johnny.
Yes.
Driving with Johnny, and the next Helms Bakery Cars and Coffee, which is an amazing event if you're in Southern California.
It is, it's worth your time. It's going to be the 21st of September. Helms Bakery. Get there at 7 a.m. if you want a parking spot. Get there at 8 if you don't.
Right, and if you want coffee and a breakfast burrito, get there at 7.
Yeah, we figured that out. We actually had a table last time, and we had coffee and breakfast burritos available before 8 o'clock. So
amazing.
Solve that problem right there.
Look at that.
You're
already iterating and evolving.
I just have to say you have great branding and posters for that event. I don't know who does that, but it's a good looking event.
Some AI program, and then I did the typesetting.
Really?
Okay. I'm an old font nerd from
it looks
way
great.
Back.
Right on.
Thanks.
Right on.
Yeah.
Job well
thank
done.
You very much.
Job well done.
Actually spent a lot of time on that, so thank you.
Well, it shows, and it's
absolutely.
I missed the last one, but the first one, that's what everybody was saying, was it was such an interesting mix of cars and people, and it really was like you couldn't walk 3 feet without seeing a friend, and it was a really cool variety of cars, and it was fun to see. I think there was a group of 2002s that got together and all came together very early in the morning, so it was just really unique and definitely worth checking out, and the food's delicious. So
it was
highly recommend.
Good times with good vibes. It was a good
excellent,
good experience, and we kind of replicated it. Early June's probably a bad time to do it. Just everyone's on vacation. Also, it was the day of the riots in LA when the National Guard got called out. So I had a lot of people like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm like, oh, Jesus, all right,
be all right.
It's never dull, right?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we will.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
Thank you so much. We're That Car Show, and remember, always be driving.